So today I'm going to be talking about collaboration, and really the economists have a good definition of what collaboration is. They call it togetherness, and this is really the idea of multiple people coming together to work on common projects and common goals. And I'd like to talk about three key areas. Firstly, some of the industry trends, and I think Roger and Paul have covered some of those very well already. Some of the customer examples that certainly we've been working with to deploy some of these technologies and some of the business benefits they've seen. And then thirdly, some of the new areas where we're investing into the future. And there's a major launch that we carried out on Tuesday this week, which I'm going to cover some of the new areas that we're investing in there, which products we're bringing to market. I think we've talked about some of these areas already, but certainly just to highlight some of the user trends that we can see in the market. Globalization, where a lot of your organizations are dealing with suppliers and customers around the world. The consumerization of IT is a big one. And a couple of examples, certainly from our side, 17% of Cisco's employees actually use Macs now when an IBM PC is the standard PC delivered to employees. They're supporting that through their own wiki that they've designed internally, their own knowledge support center. We have 10 different mobile devices within the company, iPhones, for example. And these devices are now tolerated by IT. We're also seeing users wanting to bring their own applications, and they're wondering why they can have access to such a rich set of applications like Facebook, YouTube, social networking environments, why they only have a phone and a PBX phone and email within the organization. So consumerization of IT is a big drive. Information overload, not only from email, but also lots of different feeds that people are getting today. And as has already been touched on, workforce mobility. According to IDC, there are 900 million mobile workers around the world today. So how can we cater for people when they want to work at home, on the road, in a hotel room, or in a branch office? So some of the kind of human impacts and leading to business impacts of these ideas are, it becomes quite hard to build trust when travel is reduced and you're not meeting people face to face. It's hard to locate the right expertise. And also, information sharing becomes difficult, especially as you're trying to talk to organizations, supply chains, and customers outside of your firewall. So I'll come on to a few solutions we have in these areas. Now, we've been having quite a long, hard look at the overall market for collaboration. And one thing that's quite clear is that many of the systems of the past decade have been very text and document-centric. There's been a lot of work done in organizations to streamline a lot of business processes, ERP systems, HR systems being automated, CRM systems, etc. So a lot of business processes have been automated. But one of the big areas of the next decade, really, in terms of productivity gains, is to make those ad hoc interactions that we're having more efficient and more effective, the ones that we're not currently measuring. And really what we see is that there's a whole range of other tools, real-time communication tools, and more recent social networking tools like discussion forums, blogs, wikis, social networking software, that really all need to be considered holistically, when you're looking at improving collaboration both within your company and with other companies. Now, to look at how effective collaboration can occur, we need to consider some of these changes, and we've kind of put it into 5 categories. In terms of information, your users, we believe, now and into the future, are expecting to access information through multiple devices, not only through PC or a Mac, but also mobile devices. We believe that also there's a definite move away from non-real-time communications into much more real-time communications with instant messaging and video and presence and some of the newer technologies. In terms of people, certainly what we've observed is that people are interacting much more often outside their organization as well as communities within their organization. So, as I say, across supply chains, channel partners, designs, etc. And then in terms of communities, people coming together much more with some of the social networking tools that they're using out there on their domestic lives. And we can already see that certainly we use communities extensively at Cisco in terms of gauging customer feedback, in terms of people supporting issues they've got around help desk. And also, some of the major manufacturers are also using crowdsourcing for designing new products and services. So communities is a big thing as well. And then finally, content. And really one of the key technologies here is going to be around tagging of content so you can find it more easily, and also presence, where you can find other employees much more quickly and easily and locate them and contact them. And then finally, of course, this does present a whole new set of challenges around security, because information is not all held within your organization now, communicating across these supply chains. So security has to be much more flexible, fluid, and inclusive. Now, in terms of real customer examples and bringing some of these sort of ideas to life, a few quite simple examples that we've been working with over the last several years. And a good example is North Wales Police. Now, they have 75 separate police stations across North Wales and one central HQ. And they've deployed a complete IP telephony infrastructure in this environment, along with video and unified messaging. So one of their key criteria is obviously they're looking at reducing some of their telecoms costs by deploying a centralized communications manager system, and then remote branches, £200,000 saving in call charges. But what's interesting is they're using video now to brief their teams who are out there in Wales. As you know, it's a very rural area, so people were spending a lot of time coming to central locations for briefings. So 30 hours a week travel time they've saved. And also disaster recovery. Interestingly, they deployed, as Paul was saying from Mitel, this flexible working concept where you can log into any phone. And they were finding that the users weren't adopting it. Unfortunately for them, they had a fire in their headquarters, which meant that they had to push a lot of their administrative staff out into rural police stations and remote sites. And that's when people started actually using the remote working functionality, logging onto the phones. And they actually found when their headquarters was rebuilt, only 50% of the people actually returned to the headquarters. People actually liked working in these remote locations. So we're not necessarily advocating you burn down your headquarters to make these changes happen, but you can see sometimes it takes a massive event to actually change people's behaviour around using some of these technologies.